All right, hey guys, I'm here with SSG Billy here, who recently just got top 8 in Peoria's regional with Lucci.
Luchi. Yeah, we got the Nami, we got the Zoro, we got the Sanji, and finally we got the third cereal. My first ace. I have that means I have one of each. Thank God. It's been a long time. Had some unfortunate brackets in the recent future, but we finally got one that was playable enough to get the third cereal. So
Are you gonna open your cereal?
hell no. I've never opened it before. Every time I don't open it, I sell it sealed. Somebody opens it and the number is like ass. So I'm just not gonna do it.
All right. So how was your matchups in Peoria?
So matchups were pretty good. The weekend before in Virginia, I had some pretty bad luck. Ran into the three Usops. Obviously, if you play Luchi, you know that matchup is heinous. It's like probably 85-15. So managed to get X2 at that event. Got 44th. Wasn't good enough this weekend or last weekend. But this weekend, I played against one Shanks, two Lim, two Dofi, three Pluffy, one Zoro, and one Usopp. I lost to the last two. Lost to the Usopp. It's just a bad matchup, guys.
Yeah,
like
that
you're just
matchup's
gonna
so
run into it and you're gonna
Rebecca
die
Kairo's
sometime.
Zoro,
Yeah, bro, it's just rough. And then the Zoro guy I lost to, super cool dude. He also got top 16. Yeah, it was just a tough game. I never found this card right here, Rob Lucci. Ended up just dying. You know how it goes. If you miss removal against Zoro, you're just
of
gonna
course,
die.
yeah.
So yeah, let's
You want to get started into the deck list?
yeah, let's get into it. Put this away carefully. Let me not damage it on screen. All right, there we go. And yeah, obviously you got the Lucci leader, very important, very good effect.
Yes.
And then let's just get right into the deck. It's pretty, some of the stuff's pretty standard. Obviously we got the 4, Rob Lucci.
Ooh, pretty.
Yeah, pretty. Card's still super strong. Pops a 2 and a 1. It's just like never really going to be a bad effect. And this is honestly the way you win games now is just sticking Lucci's and they swing. The 6K is just a really good number this set. So it gets you there. And then we got the 2 Jacks. Jack was a card that I was only playing one copy of in Virginia. I did miss it. There are kind of 2 builds of Lucci going around right now. One is more of like a setup build where you play 3 to 4 Jacks. You play 4 Udas, 4 Kuzans, kind of a Elijah OPTCG grinders list from Virginia Beach. I kind of chose a little bit more of a hybrid build. I do like Jack. I think it's a very good card. At 3, it felt a little too much for me, so I just stuck with 2. Yeah. And instead of playing more Jacks, I decided to play 2 Kaidos. Kaido's a pretty good card. It helps a lot against just random rogue matchups. It comes in clutch a lot of times against a lot of the slower decks where sticking a 9K body is really good. It's not great into Shanks or anything because, their big guys can swing at your big guy and most of the time it's going to die. But this card definitely came in clutch. I would have probably cut it if I hadn't played 3 Usopps the week before because this is like the only way that you have a dream of winning. Yeah, like not even a chance if you don't have this card specifically on 9 to clear the Kairos. It just becomes too. You just die to the King Kong gun. And then keeping on with the removal train, we got 4 Brook. This card is bananas.
That card's broken.
Yeah, honestly, one of the best hands I had all weekend was in top 32. I drew 4 of this card and 1 Rebecca. This was my starting hand against my Shanks opponent, and I destroyed him that game because I just had infinite Brooks, all the removal, milled everything, and this card's just really insane.
Shanks' worst nightmare.
Yeah, Shanks' worst nightmare. Basically, what you do with this deck is you just put a bunch of stuff on the field that they need to clear, and they can not clear all of it. So they're either leaving a Laboon or a Kuzan or one of these on the field. Most of the time, it's this card. And you play so much cost minusing that this is always getting its 3 down value, if not way more. Of course, we got 4 Rebecca.
Oh my God, the SPs.
Yeah, this is honestly just the best black card, to be honest. As long as this card's around and you have a solid black removal engine, it's going to be really good. It kind of pairs as a defensive card and an offensive card. Gets you whatever piece you need. If you need Hina's to get -4, you can grab a Brook. You can grab 2 copies of Spandine, which can then turn into it goes even deeper.
Spandine, Lucci combo, yeah.
Spandine Lucci, Spandine Khalifa or Kaku. These cards are just insane. I was playing 1 Spandine last week. I didn't miss it per se, But I just really wanted the consistency this weekend to find 2 of them, and I definitely don't regret it. Moving on, I played 3 Hinas. This card has been, I'm a set 5 Sokka lover. This card's always been one of my favorite cards. It just feels so strong, giving -4 on a 3/5 body. Grabbing it off Rebecca is huge. So yeah, super important 3 Hinas. And then I got 3 Kuzans. This card's this is probably my favorite card ever. This and I guess like Houndblaze, but this card just comes in clutch so much. It replaces itself immediately, and then your opponent has to deal with it. A lot of times there's not like efficient removal that other decks have on 5 Dawn. And Kuzan's always going to just be annoying and get value. Card's insane against Shanks. It's insane against Bluefy. It's just one of the best cards in this deck.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people played 4. Yeah. I have a different experience with Luchi. I've played a lot of events with his deck, and I have died a lot of games where just having too many bricks in my hand. So I kind of vowed to never play less than 10 2Ks, and don't like playing a lot of bricks, but this card is insane. I don't blame you if you play 4. I played 3 for this event. It was great.
Yeah.
Pairing the Kuzans with 3 Laboons as well. This deck you kind of put people in this position where you just have a board of stuff that if they don't deal with your board by itself can just clear their whatever they play. So they end up having to deal with this, with the Kuzans, with the Brooks, and it just can become super overwhelming, especially with this card as well, Uda. I only decided to play 2. This is basically kind of a pseudo Ennie's Lobby. It's a little easier to remove, obviously, than a stage card, but
That's
it definitely
a new card
comes in clutch.
in your
Yeah.
list, right? You didn't play it in Virginia.
Yeah, I didn't play this card in Virginia. Kind of regretted it. This card was super good all weekend. Can't complain. Honestly, all these cards are just insane. I understand like why lists played 4. And then we got 2 Sabos. This card's insane. Won me my top 16 match against Shanks. It gets around a lot of the cheese that red has to get through your blockers, like lime juice or whatever other nonsense that they're playing to try and just make them unblockable. Also, the draw 2, trash 2 fixes your hand because you play a lot of bricks.
Blocker, bro.
Yeah, this card's just insane. I don't really think I have to say too much about it.
Manga Sabos.
Manga Sabo. 2-man Sherry. This card, I love this card. I think this card's super broken. I played 2 last week as well. It just comes in so clutch all the time. A lot of times, like your plays, you need 8 Dawn for, like Rebecca Finger Pistol, Rebecca Lucci, right? So on 10 Dawn, this card, a lot of time, it just stays on the field because they either have to swing 5 at it with their leader after it's already gotten value.
Yeah, it's like a mini blocker.
Yeah, or it's literally just a Rebecca for free every turn.
Yeah.
Like, this card's broken. You can play it out early in some matchups. I played it on 1 against Dofi, and I'm just, like, sitting there. I'm like, are you going to bounce it? Or am I just going to have this on the board forever until I decide that I want to get value? Yeah. If they can't kill it, a lot of times you're just going to win the game. Just being able to pick up your entire graveyard and pick whatever you want for 1 Dawn every turn, And then my token, 10 2Ks, 4 Khalifa, 3 Toy Soldier, and 3 Kaku. I've really been loving this Toy Soldier card.
Yeah.
I find a lot of the problems with Lucci are earlier in the game, like on your 6, 5, 7 Dawn turns. It can be tough to out some stuff. You don't have the cost minus for it. And this kind of felt like a pseudo cost minusing spell. Gives it -3 by trashing itself. It can be a Hina if you don't have Hina. I didn't have Hina a lot this weekend for some reason, but I did have this card.
Nice.
Yeah, it saves you a lot. It's just a 2-mana -3. If you think about it like that, the card's really good. I chose to play 3 Kaku over the Who's Who's. Most other lists played Who's Who.
I know. A lot of people play Who's Who for the Zoro matchup.
Yep, and I understand Who's Who, but I can't cut this card. This card, if I didn't have 3 of this card in my deck, I would not have won my top 32 match. I played this card 3 turns in a row to win the game. I'm not kidding. I literally played this card that used its effect to -3 turns in a row, and it made me win the game. If it was Who's Who, I would not be sitting here doing this deck profile right now. So 10 2Ks, I think it's just the way to go. I get it. You can play 8, you can play 9. I just always prefer 10. I don't like dying to nonsense. Like, I've been in so many winning positions with Lucci in the past where I play, you know, 8-2Ks or whatever, and your opponent just starts swinging at your face and you just can't do anything about it. So I didn't want to be put in that position, and it worked out for the most part. Oop. And then to round it out, I got the 7 events, obviously the 4 Tempest Kick. Yes. I really didn't see this card much this weekend. I kind of forgot it was in my deck sometimes.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I think I minused a card with this maybe like 3 times throughout the whole weekend, maybe 4. I just didn't really have it when I needed it. But the deck, you have a lot of cost minusing in the deck to where, you know, you're not going to need this all the time. Obviously, it's insane to just replace itself, give something -3. Like, those are the turns that you really go crazy, where you clear like 2 big bodies. You need Tempest Kick for it. Obviously, it's a CP target for Spandy, and I would never play any less than 4 of this card.
Well, of course.
Of course. And then finally, 3 Finger
Finger
Pistols.
Pistols.
Yep, this card. I love this card in Virginia. I loved it this weekend. It just feels so good. Like,
most people were playing 2.
yeah, a lot of people play 2. I decided to play 3 because filling up your trash early with this deck is huge. It turns this card on. It allows your Rebecca's to find the stuff that you need on curve. So it lets you kind of save your, I guess, more efficient cost reduction and removal, like your Rebecca's and stuff, for later in the game. And also late game, this plus literally any of these,
any of your minus just
any of these cards right here. Like, literally all of these cards clears any card in the game, any 10 cost. So if you have, you know, you got like 15 different cards that you can draw with it to clear anything. Card's super good. Never triggered it this weekend. I hit it out of my first life a lot. It's card out of like every first life. Never was able to trigger it, but it is there. I know the person behind the camera definitely triggered this card 2 times to win a game. So yeah.
Yeah. So what I've seen different from this list and your Virginia list, you are not playing any searchers.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Don't get me started on the Spandom card. I've hated this card forever. I think it sucks. It whiffs all the time. Like, if you draw like 2 to 3 CP cards in your hand and you see a Spandom, you're like, in Virginia, I had it several times where I had the card and I could either swing 5 at my leader and play a Spandom, or swing 6 and keep a 1K in my hand. I kept that 1K a lot. And I would like just kind of monitor. I'd see what my leader swing was. It would always be like, I'm like milling this, drawing this for turn. I'm like, all right, my Spandom would have whiffed, probably would have lost the game, wouldn't have had a 1K. Card's never swinging anymore. Like, there's just not that much value that you really get from it anymore. It just didn't feel necessary, and I'm actually really, really happy I cut that card.
It looked like it went in your favor.
Yeah.
Also, is there any cards you would have add or took out?
Thinking about it, you could probably, like, you could get away without Kaido for sure. I think I was just a little scarred from Virginia Beach, where I was playing a bunch of Usops, and I was able to beat 2 of them literally solely because of this card. I played 3 last weekend. I only played 2 this weekend. You could probably get away without Kaido, maybe turn it into like another cost minus card and maybe a 3rd Jack. Like, you could play like 3 Jack and 3 Udas or something like that. Play more of a setup build. It does really do well into Shanks and into Ploofy when you have these cards that are just sticky, like Uda and Kuzan Laboon. It just makes your task a lot easier, lets you play defense a lot better late game because you don't have to spend all your Dawn removing something. Your board can kind of just naturally do it. And then, you know, you maybe spend 4 Dawn on like a Rebecca for a Hina to pop something, or a Finger Pistol. And you know, your other Dawn you can swing with because you don't really have a lot of tall bodies anymore. Or you can play defense. You can grab Rebecca's, you can grab Sabos. And it just helps you stay alive through that end game where, you know, a lot of decks, you know, Shanks has a lot of rush, dragons and stuff like that. You need to be able to defend your life.
Yeah.
So being able to kind of set up a board state where they have to either deal with it or just try and go face and hope you don't have the removal, you're going to have the removal a lot of times. So, yeah, those are really the only changes I would make. The deck performed really well.
Yeah, so how was your top cut?
Yeah, top cut. So in top 32, I played a Shanks player. Probably the scariest Shanks list I've ever played against. I was playtesting with Sam Martinez. Shout out Sam. The night before top cut against the Shanks list, and Sam. They were destroying me, basically just absolutely destroying me. It was, I think I got like 4-0'd, and then I ended up winning 3 games. Like, one of the games I just had to go for game, but the list was playing 4 Lucky Roo, 3 Marco, 6 events, and Sam Sam was literally just playing Lucky Roo on 4,
Lucky
Marco
Roo.
on 6. I'm popping the Marco. It's coming back, and I'm just dying. Like, it was happening every game. Fortunately for me, even though I was lower seed and my opponent got to choose to go second, they had the Lucky Roo at the first game, but didn't have the Marco. And then in the second game, they had both. And I was able to actually, for the first time, I played seven matches against this deck. I was never able to clear the Marco twice, but finally, because of drawing 4 Brooke and 1 Rebecca in my opening hand, I was able to clear the Marco twice in one turn. Yeah, on 7
When it mattered
Dawn
the most.
when it mattered the most. Yeah,
Yeah.
and was able to kind of just stabilize and didn't play into swinging my opponent to 0 to lose to the Roger. Thank God. I remembered. I know Sean was watching. He was like,
don't
"Don't
get
do
greedy,
it, don't
bro."
do it." Yeah, and I ended up not, and
Nice.
it won me the game. Then in top 16, I played against another Shanks list. The list was actually less scary. There was I think 2 Marcos, only 3 events. If you guys don't know, those cards like Marco and Lucky Roo are probably the really good red cards against black because they're sticky. The ace is pretty good too, but the Marco just gets value. It can clear your Uda if you play it early and stuff like that. So, yeah, that was a 2-1. It was a way closer match than the first one. And I had a really, really good turn where I was able to go. I had basically I basically into a double Lucky Roo. I played a Sabo, and my board literally just outed both the Lucky Roos.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I remember that,
and it was just kind of iced the match for me, left me at 1 life, and yeah, that's how we got here. And then in top 8, I ran into my buddy Arnold on Teach, and I got absolutely destroyed. got 2-0'd in like 10 minutes.
That matchup, bro.
Yeah, that matchup is really rough if you run into him.
Especially if you're not super tucked in for it.
Yeah.
Even it's still a hard matchup at the end of the
Even
day.
then, yeah. Open deck list. Like last week, I played 6 cost Broke. I didn't play it this week. So Arnold looks at my deck and he's like, "Oh, none of these cards do anything against my deck, so I'm just gonna never leader effect." And he also was able to find stage on curve both games, which is kind of the first test they have to pass against your deck. And then if that stage pitches a Burgess and adds a Kuzan, it's probably gonna lose that game. Yeah, you're probably gonna lose that game.
You just scoop, yeah.
Which happens, whatever. I was pretty happy. Got the cereal
Yes,
already.
you did.
Shout out to Jerry, his 3rd win. That's my boy. He took it home with Plouffe. He was playing out of his mind. So super deserving of him. Also shout out to all of Southside. Southside, the best store in the world. Sending us out to these events. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to Sean, Aiden, Henna, everybody here. Shout out to my girl. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, we'll be back.
For sure.
See you guys.